Hey, moms, dads, parents out there. I just want to welcome you to this webinar. And, tonight's topic is going to be about proprioceptive seekers. And whether you're on here live or you come across this at a later date, I'm just glad you're here. And I know that you're going to find some value from this tonight. In our office, we see tons of kiddos. Parents bring them in, whether they're, have some kind of proprioceptive seeking issues or challenges. And, we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute to, get more detail of what that is, what the meaning of that is and kind of why. So, as a parent, I know it's hard because I have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, and, I get it. It's tough, and we're always trying to do the best we can as parents. So, so whether it's your kiddo throwing a fit or going out to the grocery store or out shopping and they just drop on the ground, throwing a fit, banging their head, screaming, we always kind of feel like we're being judged and we're not, good enough parents and so on. And so, believe me, I get this. And so tonight I want to share with you some information that that can maybe help us all be better parents for our children, because we know they deserve the best. And so just a little introduce me for some of you that may not know me. I am Dr. Josh. I am the owner of Be Well Chiropractic. Now, a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor. And my passion is to help your kiddos function at their best so they can be the best version of themselves. And so just recently I had a mom come in. She came in originally for her 5-month-old that wasn't sleeping. And as we got talking and going through the history and all of that, she started asking questions like, wow, can you help my 2-year-old? And of course, she kind of explained to me what's going on. And she let me know that she just randomly just throws fits, stops, no idea what's going on, just stops, drops on the floor, starts banging her head for no reason at all. Well, that's at least what it looked like from the outside on the surface. When we first glance at people, that's why, we feel like we're being judged, because people only see little snippets and they don't really know what's going on. It's really hard to look from the outside in. So I remember doing this, as soon as she got into my office. So just a little backstory. So she ended up starting care. And I remember when she first came in, she would just drop at the front door, like right in the entryway, barely could close the door. As she would just sit there and scream, bang her head. As a parent, I know this can be extremely hard because you're just trying to do your best for them. You're trying to get them in, get them help. And you have no idea why this is happening. And, she was told, many other providers said this is just something she will grow out of. She's 2 years old, right? This is terrible twos or behavior. This simply isn't something that they just grow out of. And we'll talk a little bit more why here later throughout this here. So, all right, so what is proprioception? Proprioception is your brain's understanding of where your body is in space. And so you get two different ways that communication goes. So it's either from your brain to your body or your body to your brain. And with that, you have 2 types of sensory feedback. So one is proprioception, where your body is in space. It's reading our environment, tells us what we're doing here. That's where I can, close my eyes and I know where my hands are. I can touch my nose, and so forth, and do things like that. Your body just knows where you are. You have good coordination. So proprioception is that good information about what's going on. It's that calmness. Nociception is the opposite. So that's the bad information that's going in. That's the noise. That's the irritation. That's the super high-paced kiddos. And there can only be one of those inputs at a time. I like to talk about it as the gate theory. So gate theory is you have a gate and you have two keys. One's proprioception, one's nociception. And only one can be in at a time. So when the proprioception key is not in there, the nociception key hops right in and fills that void. And so when you have that fill the void, it's really hard to get that out and get that natural proprioceptive information going into the brain. And so I'll talk a little bit about the different parts of the body, the nervous system. So this is it's broken down into two parts. You have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. Most are familiar with the sympathetic. That's your fight or flight or your protective stress mode that your body goes into. And then you have your parasympathetic, which is your rest, healing, and digesting part. And so the parasympathetic is that good calming information. That's your proprioception. Then you have your sympathetic, which is your nociception. So that is all that bad information, that stress mode, that is your grinding, your oral fixations, jumping, banging off the walls, head banging, always trying to look for the information from the outside in. And so, I know it's hard. You don't, like I kind of mentioned earlier about going to the stores in the public, like when you have a kiddo that is always seeking this behavior, it's real hard to go out in public, go to do your normal things you do, especially if you have a real young one with you. You just don't know how they're going to show this behavior, and so that's when they have that lack of natural proprioceptive information going into their body. And so they have to keep seeking and finding different ways to get that from the outside in. So we're going to talk a little bit about which areas of the body and how your body receives that information from the outside in and also from the inside out. So there's different areas of the body that have different receptors. And so we're talking about your spine. 60% of your proprioception is in the spine. So that's from the top of your neck here down to the bottom of your back. This is all the big movements. That's the jumping, wrestling, crashing, the deep pressure that some kids need, or the big, weighted blankets and different things like that also can help with this. So the 60% is in your spine. And so 33% is just from the upper part of your neck. The top 2-3 bones here, that's where 33% of that proprioceptive information comes in. And, that's the oral seeking, the head banging, tics, all of the grinding the teeth, biting, all of that is the information that, from the upper part of the neck. And then last, there's other area, the other 40% or so is from your hands, feet, and groin area. So that's your grabbing, the throwing, touching, the touchy-feely. Always have to be, sitting on your lap or right next to you, have a hand, the stroking of the face, sleeping with the parents when they're old enough to be sleeping in their own bed, and all of those kind of things. So it's super important to really get that natural proprioceptive input from the inside out. And so if we can get their brain and body to communicate properly, they're going to get that and they're going to stop seeking outside to get that information. And so I want to talk a little bit about our office and how we are different and what we kind of do here. So we use state-of-the-art technology, perfectly safe for infants and beyond. And what that does is it reads what your body puts off. Nothing goes into it. It's not like an x-ray or anything like that. It just reads the energy and input from your body and gives us a big picture of what's going on. This helps us locate those areas where the brain isn't getting the proper feedback from its environment. We call those subluxations, miscommunications, And that gives us a lot of information about what's going on. And then our scans, so that state-of-the-art technology, that's our scans that we do. So this helps us create a plan that's specific for your child, that best fits their needs and goals that you help, set forth for them. And then the adjustments that we do here, this helps create the proper signaling back and forth for the brain and their body. And then over time, their body starts to naturally heal and create that proprioceptive from within. Like I said, that natural proprioceptive behaviors and sensing there, not from the outside in, which is what we're trying to do here. We want to quit them from always seeking and trying to get this information, from everywhere else besides, from within. And so then after that, the child then becomes their own superhero. This is really huge because this is, we all have our own superhero inside of us because our body does its own healing. I have just, here in our office, I just help you facilitate that, and you and your body does all the healing. So we have a bunch of superheroes that come in our office all the time because they are doing all the work, and it's so cool to see that. And, they get their own, the healing in their own childhood back. They can be kids like they deserve. I just had a 10-year-old come in, and he was like, it was one day off. He had in between his adjustments, and he knew it. He knew he needed to be in the office. And so when he came in, I asked him, tell me something good. And he said, I'm here getting my adjustment. That's all he had. That's all he was worried about. He was so happy that he got to come in because he knows that feeling that it gives him of that calmness. And so, and then to kind of go back on that young little 2-year-old, Selena, she's still coming in today, and she is a world of difference. This has impacted moms and their whole family's life and dynamic because she's not constantly just dropping out of the middle of nowhere, screaming, unconsolable, and headbanging. Now she runs right in, almost knocks me over, giving me a hug because she's so happy to come in and see me. And, that's really what it's all about here. And this is why I do what I do. And she just jumps on the table, gets her adjustment, and goes on, grabs her apple and leaves. So really what I want, I want your kiddo to get the help they deserve. I want you to have these success stories like the ones I just kind of mentioned. And if you're not from this Palmer-Wasilla area, let me know. Reach out to me, and I will find you a doctor that is specifically trained to serve kiddos and who is trained with the same technology that I have. I want to thank you for spending your valuable time tonight. And I truly want to give you hope that there's a better way for your child. And I know, if this is your child, is a proprioceptive seeker, kind of like I've mentioned and gone through here tonight, please reach out to us at 907-745-2430 to get your kiddo and your family scheduled to get this scan so we can really see how their nervous system and bodies are receiving that input from their environment. You can also reach out to us by email or messenger. Whatever it is you need to do, let us know. We are here for you, and I want to get all your questions answered and get you onto your healing journey. So, and if you still want a little bit more information, we are doing a live workshop for parents called The Perfect Storm. This is February 20th at 7 p.m. at Hebrews Cafe. And so this is going to be talking about ADHD, sensory, asthma, allergies, and autism. And we're going to dig real deep into that and to the how and the why and what there is that we can do about it, and some tips and all of that. So if you want some more information about that, or you want to come talk to me there at the event, whatever it is, go to our Facebook page at BWellAK, register for that event. It's a free event. Just show up, and we will talk more about that there. But again, thank you very much for spending your valuable time with me tonight, and be well.